Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 9 of Pentacles, gain, the visible signs of progress. What things do you need to see in your life to let you know that you're living it, that you're doing it, that things are happening, that you're getting better, growing, that things are going in the right direction? What does progress look like to you? What are the markers? What are the measurements that we use to say, I'm living the right life, I'm doing well, I'm successful, right? What are those visible signs of progress for you? I think that's a good question for all of us. How do we gauge our success in life? Is it just a matter of how much money's in the bank? Is it how much time we have? Is it how many moments of joy we can experience, you know? Is it a number, right? Is it a feeling? Is it a quality? Yeah. I like this card, but I'm wondering now how we define that. How we are looking at this sort of, you remember that game of life? Remember that board game where you just had to, there was one path through life, and you'd get extra, you'd get your money, you'd get, I don't know, you had a little plastic car, you had a little plastic people, and you'd get married, you'd have a kid, you'd get a job, you'd get a promotion, you'd buy a house, and it was like all these, like it's kind of it was a linear path, but there was only one path in life, you know? And, you know, I feel like sometimes we have these standards of our own success, our own progress, but maybe we need to evaluate those and think, is this what I really care about? Like, what does it mean to me to be successful? Not just about how many hours I can work, you know. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. We may be opening up a can of worms here. We got the Fool. Okay, well, there I see it. The Fool is taking their own path through life. Right? The Fool might be saying, I'm going to start gauging my success in a different way. You know, it's not about how many subscribers I get, how many views I get. It's about how many people I reach. It's about the quality of my commitment to the audience, you know, and the feedback that I get. That's why I always say that I love the comments more than anything, because I can see how many people these readings are reaching and touching, and how much impact they might have. And I try to remember that I'm just the messenger. This is coming through me, right? And that's how I gauge my success, by the degree of, at least in this context, right? By the degree to which I'm able to express the energies that are coming through, and the impact that I see it have on other people, you know? And so I think we all have to find our own unique way of defining success in our life. What does it mean to be successful in your life generally? I think for me, it's about having meaningful relationships with everybody, everything in my life, including ourselves, our family, friends, our business, our, you know, the general kind of universe around us. Okay, but the Fool is your very own. So let's keep this reading focused on you. Here we have a Queen of Pentacles, a 9 of Cups, a 2 of Cups, an 8 of Pentacles. Interesting. Very interesting over there. We've got we've got a Prince of Cups. We have your Pisces power card. In the position of the environment, that's the Moon card. That card is associated with the sign of Pisces. Okay? So I kind of feel like because this is in the position of your relationships, I feel like you're taking a chance being yourself, going your own way, having your own path through life. You're doing things your authentic way. This is the card of authenticity. We have the Lust or Strength card, and finally a Five of Swords. Five of Swords is interesting because to me it feels like that means you're thinking for yourself. You know, that means that we may be dealing with self-doubt, and we may be asking questions. We may feel uncertain. We may feel worried and stressed out. Well, yeah, good, because you're going your own way. If you weren't stressed out, if you didn't need a little bit of courage, if it wasn't a little bit scary, you're probably just on the game of life doing what everybody else is doing. It takes all the thought out of it. If you don't know the board game, Google it. Watch a YouTube video about it or something. I used to love that game when I was a kid, you know? But it was just one winding path it was kind of the same for everybody, and you just kind of had to stay in between the lines. You had to stay, in your lane, and those were the achievements of life, right? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will hopefully tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments. Okay, let's take a look around the room. We see some majors. We've got 1, 2, 3. We don't have any fire except for the controlled fire of the strength card, the lust card, the passion, right? We've got water, 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 a little bit of air, and we've got earth, earth, and earth. So really this is water, 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 earth, earth, earth. Water and earth is the name of the game, which is now kind of saying that I'm gauging my life by the feeling. This is quality. This is quantity. Okay, life can be gauged in terms of the numbers. It's something measurable, right? It's kind of a quantity of something. It's a qualitative analysis of our life and saying, well, okay, well, if the number's going up, I'm successful, right? If I make more money every year, then that means things are good. If I'm getting the promotion and if my car keeps getting nicer or whatever, then things are going in the right direction, you know? But this is more of the quality of life. How does it feel, right? What really makes us happy? What makes us feel satisfied? Okay. This is the Three of Cups, Three of Cups, Three of Cups stacked on top of each other. This is our abundance stack, right? It's abundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. This is the card of the pursuit of happiness rather than the pursuit of wealth. This is the pursuit of meaning. This is the pursuit of, the number, right? I feel like your life is becoming more and more abundant. I think the sense of fullness is approaching for you, because I feel like the Fool is realizing that I've got to start building up the happy life. I've got to start focusing on the quantity of the quality, right? How many of these moments I have, right? The Nine of Cups to me feels like your life is getting more abundant on every plane. And just like the Nine of Cups, I feel like your life is getting more successful on every plane, right? It's a 9. It's a 3, 6, 9, right? A 3 stacked on top of each other. This is our stack of success. This is our stack of happiness. We kind of want both of them, right? I feel like that's kind of the goal, right? We can't have happy moments without having some kind of measurable success in life, right? When I think we're starting to realize that our conception of success, our conception of progress, like living a successful life, has to have the water behind it, right? Otherwise, this becomes empty. It becomes empty shells. Oh, you got all this money, but you got nobody to enjoy it with. right? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't give you a sense of happiness or satisfaction. And I think the Fool is starting to wonder, okay, what does it really mean to me? What do success and happiness mean to me, to you, right? Beneath the surface, we have the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles understands the idea of regret. You know, understands that our idea of happiness, in a way, has to sort of ask the questions, you know, like, what am I going to regret not doing? Am I going to regret that, oh, I didn't make as much money last year as I could have? Or are we going to regret, I didn't have enough moments with my friends, enough moments with my family? Like, what are we going to, down the road in life, you know, our future self, what are we really going to be kind of mad about? You know, that I didn't have the nicest car in the neighborhood, or that I didn't spend enough time with my people. Yeah. Are we going to be upset because of the quantity of things that we can count, or the quality of our experiences? An understanding of future regret, the anticipation of future regret, that's wisdom. And I think that's what the Queen of Pentacles is doing here. It's us realizing that, hey, if I don't get more of this in life, I'm not going to be so happy later. I know my future self's going to be pretty mad at me if I don't try to make some more memories. You know, I think this is a pretty cliched thing, right? Because it's, you know, you can't take the money with you. Well, no, but the money can also help us to have more moments like this. You know, you make the money, then you can invest that money in time with your family. You can take them on vacation. You can take time off work. You can eventually find a way to work less hours, right? And make more moments for joy, for abundance, for satisfaction. So I feel like life needs to be a blending of all of these. Okay? I think the nines are the function, how we're living life. All of the nines, even a Nine of Swords, right? The suffering. Even the Nine of Pentacles, we're living a life of progress, of gain, of trying to weave our way down that game of life, you know. And even the Nine of Wands, too. We're living a life of principle. We're living a life of intention. We feel like the more intentionally I live, the more I manifest. That makes me feel like I've sort of, fulfilled my potential, or my ability to sort of commit myself to something and follow through. Like that, the building up of that fire energy, the spirit within us, you know. I think that's a way of life, you know. This Two of Cups up above here. Very interesting reading. We've been getting such almost strange readings for you lately, right? The Two of Cups up above here, I think we're focused more on those relationships. I think relationships with people, quality relationships rather than the quantity of them, is becoming the focus. I think you're starting to realize that your idea of success, your idea of progress, is how much love you got in your life. How many moments we've got, how much, what is the depth of our experience? What is the meaning and purpose behind all of our travels, right? I feel like the Fool here is kind of, is in a way reflecting, or at least the Queen of Pentacles is reflecting on the path. And I wonder if the Fool now is kind of ready to live life differently. I don't know if maybe you're deciding that a certain path that you've been on is just not rewarding in the right way. Okay, this maybe is somebody who is saying, you know what, I don't want to work so many hours. I'd rather take a little bit less money, but do something that is meaningful to me. You know, maybe this is saying, I'm going to take a little sabbatical from all of this rat race, you know, game of life. And I want to do something that's creative, artistic. I want to fall in love. I want to create love. I want to express love. I want to give back. I want to go travel. I want to volunteer. I want to serve the universe in a way. Okay? Maybe it's just saying that I'm going to use some of this physical resource, the physical abundance that I have, to go on a new adventure, to do something that is meaningful. What's the point of earning money if we're not going to do anything meaningful with it, you know? But I think also there is a little bit of prudence in the future here. The way forward is not to completely, the Fool, just abandoning everything and going on a whole different journey and just kind of walking away from success. I think it's a matter of slowing down, right? Maybe the Eight of Pentacles is saying, we're just going to put in a little bit less hours at the job that earns the money, and we're going to try to make some time for things that mean something more. Okay? And I know it's not easy to do that. And a lot of us don't have the resources to do that. Okay? But I think that this is the way forward for us, is to try to find ways to slow down. We want to strengthen the quality of our experience. We want to strengthen the bonds that we have. Okay? So I think the Fool kind of is this impulse to just kind of do something dumb, to I just want to quit and I want to go wander around the world, the universe. I used to have these fantasies in my 20s that I would just quit my job and I would just leave everything behind. This is when I was single, you know, I just had an apartment, all my stuff. One day I would just drive off into the sunset, and wherever I ran out of gas, that was where I was going to live. I'd get a job at a gas station somewhere. I wouldn't know anybody. It'd be just a small, dusty town. You know, I really had that fantasy. And I think the Fool embodies that. I want to kind of, I don't know. I just want to wipe everything clean and go somewhere where nobody knows me, where I don't have responsibilities. I don't have things tying me down. And I can reinvent my life. I can redo it in a way, you know. Well, sometimes this is that feeling of I'm ready for a rebirth. I'm ready to reinvent myself. I'm ready to begin life again on a different path. I don't want to play the game of life anymore. I want to play Candyland, you know, something else. Chutes and ladders, I don't know, something. But we can't, right? We all have responsibilities. And I think the Queen of Pentacles is in that position where it's just you know, I can't just abandon the things I have in my life. Maybe we're older now. We have a family now, right? Got responsibilities, got bills to pay. I can't just up and leave. Maybe going forward, there are things we can do to slow down a little bit. You know, this is kind of we're going to stay home on a Friday night. We're going to read a book. We're going to watch a movie as a family. We don't need to go out into the city, into the crowded restaurant, or into the rat race. You know, we don't need to do those busier things. I think your interests are shifting. Okay, the Fool might be saying, okay, my idea of success is to have more time doing the things I love to do, rather than being the workaholic, you know. I think we really are trying to manifest more love, and we're saying, look, if I don't love it, if it's not bringing me more love and more abundance, well, maybe the Fool is saying I need to consider if I still want it in my life. And you know, we think, okay, we have this job, you know, it's paying the bills. Is it consuming your entire life? Is it, you know, are we still putting in 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week? And if we are, why? Okay. Do we have an end game for that? Okay, because the nines are open-ended. The nines are saying that we can keep, especially the Nine of Pentacles. I'm going to keep working, you know, 80 hours a week because I have to. And the Fool is kind of wandering in, saying, okay, when is this done? When are we done with this one? When do we get to stop doing this? When do we get to focus on the quality, the love, the depth, the meaning, the purpose of it all? Is there a final stage to this, right? What is the finish line here? Yeah, and sometimes it's not clearly defined. We don't know. And so the Fool is saying, well, I don't want to play that game anymore. I'm not gonna sign up for that if there's no end. If you don't tell me when my servitude is over, I don't want to play that game. You think of the game of life, it's like Monopoly, the game Monopoly, right? It goes on forever and ever and ever, hours and hours and hours. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play that game, you know. We have to play it a little bit, I think. The Fool, of course, could go off and be the hermit. You never know. But I think caution, I think slowing down, I think reassessing what we're doing. The Eight of Pentacles, this is the way to go. There's patience, there's prudence, there's caution going forward. We're not just rushing into anything or out of anything. We're not making any split decisions, right? We're trying to think what's going to be the most appropriate way forward here. Let me reassess. Okay. Now, Path of the Serpent. We see some good stuff over here. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Your authenticity, right? Saying what is it that I really want to do, right? Because the Fool is just like, you know, let's start over, right? Yeah, but start over and do what? Start over and kind of just end up on the game of life again? I don't want to do that. I've already made this much progress. I don't want to start back at the beginning. You've already climbed your way up the corporate ladder. No sense jumping ship now and then just finding yourself back at the bottom of the ladder somewhere else. So the authenticity here is saying, what means something to me? What's the quality of my life supposed to be? I don't need to take that information from anywhere else. I don't need to read the instructions of that board game, you know, to see what I'm supposed to do. What do I want? What means something to me? What do I value? How can I be authentic? How can I be honest with myself about what I want in life? And how can I make decisions from that perspective? Now, we're not always going to get to do everything we always want to do. Sometimes we have to do the things we have to do. We have obligations. We have responsibilities. But we're at least asking the questions. That's all we're talking about here is that Five of Swords. This is everything leading up to the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is the final outcome of the reading is you saying, wait a minute, why am I doing this and what do I want to do? How do I want to move forward? This is simply us asking these questions. Okay? No one's telling you to leave your job. No one's telling you to leave your family. Just ask the questions. What are you doing? What are you committed to and why? What does your soul really want you to do? What do you value? What does your authentic self tell you about your life right now? How are we reassessing things? Now, in the environment, you've got that Moon card. Okay, that is your true self. That's you kind of living your authentic life out here in the world, in your relationships, being you. Okay? But I feel like this card's also a bit of a mystery. And maybe we're saying, hey, the Fool wants to start over, wants to go on this new adventure, but maybe we don't know what we really want. If you're not playing the game of life, what are we doing? And maybe it's just like, I've never really thought about it. I don't know. I don't know what I really want to do. Okay. Maybe this card is saying like, okay, I want to get off the game of life. I want to get out of my little plastic car and I want to go do me. I want to go do my life and find my adventure, my creativity and my expression. It's kind of scary. It's a step into the unknown. It's a step into the dark, scary forest. Well, the Fool is just like saying, yeah, let's go in the dark, scary forest. Come on, guys, let's go. The Fool doesn't have any sense, you know. The Fool is not very considerate of consequences or anything. It just says, oh yeah, adventure, let's go. Dark, scary forest, who? I don't care. So we got to have a little bit of caution, and obviously we're going to be confronted with the unknown. If we decide to reduce our hours or maybe start doing something else with our life, or we're trying to slowly shift over to a life that is more creative or artistic or emotional feeling based rather than resource based, you know, it's kind of a scary thing. But this is a doorway of transition. This is a doorway that we're right at the threshold of this doorway, and we're about to step through it. Let's do a divine doorway card. We're about to step through this doorway, and it's going to take courage. It takes courage even to ask the questions of, you know, where am I in life, and what do I want? Why do I feel this, I don't know, maybe a yearning, a persistent ache for something else? A creative project, a distant travel, maybe something that's kind of nudging us out of this game of life. We got to ask those questions. Okay, and we got to cross this threshold. Here we have 1111. Numbers in doubles, synchronicity in 2. Don't hold back your love now. Life is meant for you. 1111. Okay, synchronicity in 2. Don't hold back your love now. Life is meant for you. Maybe it's the idea that we're spending so much time at work that we don't get to spend that time with the people that we love or the person we love. Okay, and you know, I can relate to that as well because I put in a lot of time with my responsibilities, doing work, you know, filming the readings, working on the channel, doing the things that I have to do in life, and it takes time away from my time with my family. You know, and so it's a trade-off, it's a compromise. I do less readings on the channel. I spend more time with my family, right? And so I have to find the right balance because I want to keep up with the channel. I have an obligation to this channel. This is my passion in life. You know, in an ideal world, I would take a year off from the channel and spend it with my family, you know. I can't afford that. So, you know, and besides, there's a pull in the other direction as well, you know. And so that's why we have the 9 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles. You kind of like, maybe you like the game of life a little bit. You like to have stuff. You like to be successful, have money. You want to be able to have nice things and provide for yourself and provide for other people. You want to have a quality of life too. So it's kind of like, where's the work-life balance here? You know, if I don't go to work, then the time I spend with my family is going to be cut short anyway because we're going to run out of money, right? So it's like, I got to go to work, but I've got to spend time with my family and I've got to experience my daughter and bond and have that quality time too. There's not 2 of me. And I can't double the hours in the day either. So everything is everything is that trade-off. And I think what we're doing with the 5 of Swords is we're starting to ask, where is the trade? Where's the line? Where's the balance that's going to be struck here? Okay. The 9 of Pentacles is giving us the resources to even have the 9 of Cups at all. You know, and it breaks my heart, but sometimes my daughter, well, literally every day now, she's almost 5, and she's, Daddy, do you have to go to work today? Daddy, do you have to go to work today? Every day, right? Or every night, she's, Daddy, do you have to go to work tomorrow? Yeah. I'll be at work before she wakes up, you know. I come down, and I'm blessed. Absolutely, I'm not complaining. Absolutely blessed. I come downstairs to the studio, and I get to work. Okay? I'm not up there with her. And she wakes up and Daddy's not there every day, right? And I try to explain to her how lucky we are because a lot of parents have to travel quite far for work and they're gone for days at a time, months at a time. We are absolutely blessed that I'm only, 100 feet away from her. You know, granted, I can't talk to her. She's not in the room with me. One day she will be. I think that'll be a really fun day to kind of bring your daughter to work day. But I sort of explained to her, I say, you know, Mommy and Daddy have to work because that's how we're able to do the things that we do and provide the things that you need to have, you know, food, water, shelter, food, transportation. She's doing horse lessons now. So, those are actually starting up today, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And so we're very, very blessed that Daddy doesn't have to travel very far away for hours or days at a time in order to provide, you know. And so we have to kind of count our blessings, but also understand where we need to make some shifts and some changes. But it all is this organic growth here that we're looking for. This is really the name of the game. We're not just jumping ship. We're not going to one extreme or the other. We're trying to be very reasonable. We're trying to focus on what is going to be the most wholesome growth. We're looking for the holistic path, you know, where it's like I need to work so that we have resources. We need quality time. So there's got to be a very kind of gentle balance to things. Yeah. It does take courage to go through this transition, to go through any kind of a change in life. Okay, and another, I hate to always bring it back to myself, but 3 years ago, well, it's about 2 years ago now, when I started the channel 3 years ago, actually the 3-year anniversary is coming up very soon, a couple of days. About a year into it, I was still working my day job. And then when a day job was over, I would film the readings. So I was working on the channel. So I was very, very busy, right? And made the decision that I was going to quit the day job and just do YouTube. Scariest decision I ever made. This is scary, but I was thinking that this is going to allow me to put all of my work hours into the channel and then spend the rest of the time with my family. Okay? And that was the risk that I had to take. Okay? And I know I'm very blessed to have been able to do that, and for it to, so far, fingers crossed, it's working out, you know. But sometimes we have to step into that fear of that moon card here. And we have to take a chance on ourselves and say, there's a different way I can do things. Now, it's not risky behavior. We're not being reckless. We're trying to be very cautious and very prudent and say, okay, this is what I need to do, slow and steady growth. We don't just have to launch ourselves right through this doorway of change. We can sort of ease into it, figure out the best way to do it that's going to maintain the most stability. I think that's important. Maintain the most stability. And of course, we need the courage of this lust or strength card. And this is in the position of the difficulty, right? Is that the confidence, the courage, the feeling like we're capable of doing this. We're capable of living the life that is full of meaning and purpose and creativity. Okay? But this card is here, and so this is kind of saying to me, like, this is what you need. You need that courage, at least to ask the questions. Let's look at the mystery card. Empress, Emperor, maybe the Universe, Wheel of Fortune. I think Wheel of Fortune probably would be good. I'm thinking fire, though. I'm thinking it's going to be like a 5 of Wands. Yeah. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Oh, the 8 of Cups. Yeah, of course it's the 8 of Cups. Because the Fool's kind of going hermit. This is almost like going hermit mode. See, that literally is the hermit right there. The hermit's walking away from something. Walking away from something that it's not bad. Right? Leaving something here that just kind of pursuing a different. It's like you're walking away from the board game. Walking away from the game of life a little bit and following a different path. And I don't think we are literally doing that, but I feel like this is us in an energetic or spiritual way where we're distancing ourselves from that path because there's other things that are out there that are more important for us to search for. We have to know what those things are. We have to have the courage to ask the questions, what am I really looking for in life? Because I know that this isn't it. This isn't all there is to life, just, kind of working for a living, So we're in search of the deeper meaning and purpose to our life. Now, we're still going to have the job. We still got to pay the bills, right? But energetically, we're walking away from the attachment to that to discover, to ask the questions. What is it that I really want? What is going to bring me the true satisfaction, the true feeling of wealth and success? Because you may be successful, but do you feel successful? So I like this card because it is kind of like we know that we don't have to follow the same path of the board game of life. We don't have to have the little plastic car. We don't have to get married, have the kids, get the job, get the house, and then and pay the taxes. Well, we still have to pay taxes, but we don't have to go down that prescribed path. The Fool is saying, I want to live life my own way, and we're trying to discover what that way is, and we're going off trail a little bit here. Okay, we're formulating our own goals. Yeah. I like it very, very much. We're going to do an extended reading too. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Pisces Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you want to watch the extended readings on the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com. You can also find me on Patreon. Check out my wife's channel. She does Ula tea leaf readings. Really marvelous work over there. Okay. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.